Hey you guys, in this video I wanted to go over the 2025 Rebel 1100 SE, the special edition, just because, I don't really do videos like this. I'd much rather watch them, and I just picked this bike up 2 weeks ago. I've been on YouTube every day just seeing, when the first couple videos will come out. I love a good review. If you guys are like me, since you're watching this, and there just hasn't been a video on them. And sure enough, I got researching a little bit, and most of the places these bikes will be sold eventually don't even have pricing for it yet. Here in the States, you can configure it, all that online. They're like nowhere. I had the 2022 1100 DCT, and I traded it in. I had no idea this one was so new. I have VIN number 4. And so I was like, well, yeah, this is probably one of the first to hit the roads. This is straight from Japan, of course. And so I figured I'd just make a video for all the nerds out there who like to just plan ahead, really know the line. I stay up to date with all the new bikes that Honda makes, whether or not I have any interest in buying them. I just love the stuff they pump out. So this is just going to be an anecdotal video. I got nothing too professional or official in the way of video editing, or I'm not going to give you all the specs and all the lowdown. I'm assuming you're here because you probably have a Rebel and you're looking into this new line, and that's certainly my hope with making this video, is to give you guys some anecdotal information on this bike, because you can find all the specs online and not a ton has changed, but there definitely are some things. And I will give a little disclaimer that I'm not your average bike guy. I have very odd tastes. I think I am exactly the market that Honda is selling this bike to. I really don't like the, I don't know, kind of like the classic cruiser styles, like with the Yamaha Bolt and like the old Sportsters. I really dislike that look, and I couldn't tell you exactly why. I just love how modern these things are. The Rebel 1100s are Honda's like continuation of the cruiser into the future. Like, they're not building one that's meant to resemble the past. It's its own thing, and it's definitely a cruiser, but I love how they didn't really follow a lot of rules. I mean, like, it has a lot of power, and the tuning and the way the gears run, especially on this DCT, don't really tell you that it's a cruiser bike between your legs. It more feels like a sport bike that isn't, over 1500 cc or anything. And like the lights, they're very modern, and it's kind of just a new take. And so anyways, if you're like me and you like this bike, that's something we have in common. I'm not your average biker guy, but I'll just kind of tell you a little bit about my experience with this. So I guess I'll start by saying that of course I said I came from a 2022 Rebel 1100 DCT, and I loved it. A big thing was that when I bought it, it had 4,000 miles on it. I ended up putting another 25, and everywhere you went, if this was my bike, if you were taking off the battery, say under this panel, there'd be all sorts of little scratches and like chips in the plastic. If you were like taking off the passenger seat or the rear light, there's just scratches in places that I didn't think someone should really go in the first years of ownership, and it had clearly been dropped. The tank was totally fine, but there's just all these little things that, like, the bike didn't even come with the front fender. I had to argue with the dealership to get them to buy me one. And so I don't really know what the previous owner was doing, but he was screwing around in a couple places. And as a result, I never really felt satisfied after I got that bike. I don't know, I just felt like I knew that something was wrong deep down in my soul, where I should be aligned with this bike. I just love keeping stuff pristine and clean, and this bike obviously is new, and so it gave me kind of that opportunity to do that. But I didn't, again, I didn't know these were so new. I just strolled into the dealership at the right time. But I can confidently say this bike doesn't really feel a ton different than the other Rebel did. I'll show you the tire here, or the wheel, because they're so legit. This bronze has such a good flake. You know, compared to the other Rebel, I'll get into some stuff that Honda did say they changed later in the video, but I'd say this rides identically to the outgoing model. The suspension is the same, I'd argue, super tough ride. Pretty much just make your passengers wish they had fallen off long ago with these little passenger pads. But if you don't do a lot of, you know, passenger riding, the cockpit is more than comfortable for quite a while, especially with the new seat. But yeah, it rides identically. The power is pretty much the same. The only thing I noticed is that I went from a Two Brothers Racing exhaust, and I'll tell you more about that later, but I went from that to this, and I feel like it's more responsive. I couldn't tell you why, and especially when I had the Shorty GP exhaust on there. This is definitely way more responsive than that. But even from the Two Brothers Racing, coming out of a slow speed maneuver, it is way more flickable. But anyways, I couldn't tell you exactly why. I know this thing is packed with a ton of stuff. So, but yeah, it's pretty much the same bike, just with a couple of variations that I'll kind of get into more in this video. So I know a lot of you guys are probably going to be wondering, you know, do I upgrade to the 2025 models or do I just keep mine? And they did kind of go through a soft refresh here. You know, they didn't reinvent the wheel, but there are a couple really distinct things that changed here that just haven't changed before. And so whether you have a Rebel or not, I'm just going to give you my take on why I switched from the 2022 to here. Just disregard the fact that, you know, this is a brand new bike and I had a bike that was used, and I didn't, the previous owner, man, I don't know what the heck he was doing. And I only bought it like that because I didn't have any other choice. You couldn't find them. So that was big in getting me to switch. But besides that, I'll just tell you the couple things that really grabbed my attention. Because like I said, I didn't even test drive it. I just said, yeah, whip her up, that's mine. The biggest thing was the road sync, the new system. Again, not your average biker guy. This might go against what a lot of you guys think, but I say the more tech, the better. I know it kind of has tendencies to fail and whatnot, but if done right, I love tech. So with this new screen, it's super bright. I've never had visibility issues. I will say the actual screen itself is plastic, so you can see I've got a tempered glass on here, and it just kind of bubbles up, but you know, not a super big deal. But road sync is supposed to change the game. If you go onto their website, Honda's, in the US, it's not available quite yet. They're about to roll it out. In the meantime, I can actually, you can see this icon, I can hook up my motorcycle to my phone. Couldn't tell you what it does yet. It doesn't really do anything, but that's gonna harbor the future, you know, features and stuff that they say are supposed to be like Android Auto or Apple CarPlay for your motorcycle, which makes me super excited. That sounds amazing to me. Like having directions on the screen would be nice. Another thing is that this whole system changed. There's a ton that you can do. So there's a new toggle switch. This is how you do everything on your screen. And I'll just show you kind of simply that there are a bunch of customizable menus, and I love that. You know, my car is that way. I'd love to have it on my bike too. So there's just different little combos of information that you can show, including your user gear profile. But you can back out of that. You can mute your volume. You can go to phone, which eventually will be, you hold to the right or to the left, but you can see it doesn't do anything for now. And you can actually change your speedo design, which I thought was a really nice touch. I love being able to, you know, have the control. I spent all this money on it, like, you know, might as well. And then you can also change it from dark to light as you please. So that was like the biggest thing that got me. Number two, the biggest thing that got me to switch, I'm all about the little things. I love little details, and I love that Honda keeps on getting better over the years. And so this might be no big deal for someone watching, but for me, all of these buttons, all of them trimmed up and condensed to their like current most simplest form. The cruise actually is split between both handlebars now. Set reset is over here, the button toggle's over there. You won't realize until you do it that that's actually a little easier than it was before. The light switch toggle is now like a car. There are 3 modes, pass, normal, and bright's on. That's sick. I love that. Even the manual gear changers feel much more ergonomic. So that was a big thing for me. You know, I was thinking, I got a used bike here that I don't trust what's been done to it. If I'm gonna move up, I really want all this stuff. And this will all be on the 2025 models, regardless of if you get the SE or not. And then specific to the SE, I mean, there wasn't really a choice for me. I love the DCT. This is only available in DCT, so that didn't deter me. Is the mirrors, these are OEM. And I love that. I just literally switch sides on them and they flip right down. It's just a double locking nut situation in there. So that was kind of attractive to me. I don't have to go aftermarket to put something kind of janky on, you know. I've had the Fenrir mirrors in the past. They're such garbage. So that was a big thing. And then the overall look. I mean, you can't really get away from the look. The gold rims with the matte black fenders with that contrasty punchy orange, which actually is two-tone. I never realized that till making this video. And then the cowl. I've never been a cowl guy, but that grew on me instantly. Yeah, that was kind of a done deal for me right there. Now Honda does say that they changed the geometry from seat to peg to handlebar. I can't really tell you if it's different. Really don't know. It's still comfortable like before. That's my 2 cents on that. Another big thing is if you do trade in your bike, I think this needs to be said, the exhausts are all backwards compatible, or I should say forward compatible. So this is a 2024 Rebel 1100 exhaust, and I just smacked it on. And also the seats. For some reason, if you use an AI assistant to search up if these are compatible, it will tell you no. The dealer will tell you no. Your salesman will tell you no. So you might just think, well, you know, to heck, I'll just give him my passenger seat if it's not going to fit my new bike. Not true. I almost gave him 3 seats that I bought. You know, this was the passenger from the old bike, and then I had the brown and brown from the old bike as well, and I decided to keep those because they all fit. And this is the new seat from Honda, which is a ton more comfy. Anecdotal to the max, but you're gonna notice. It's super comfortable. So anyways, everything's pretty much compatible from another bike to this one. So the mods that you like, I would bring them with you. No questions asked. And then trade in whatever parts you don't want. But yeah, this is the Honda Rebel SE, and it is on the roads. This is, like I said, one of 2 that were in Utah, and I bought one of them. So I don't know when they'll get more available, but I stay on the website. I keep looking at inventory, and there's just no more that pull up. So I guess we'll kind of see, but I'd love to see other videos hit YouTube just to see what other people think about this bike. So that's kind of it. I'll just tell you quickly what my mods are and anything I plan to do and what the brands are, so that if you decide to, you know, take any of this, you can do it exactly. So I did the Burley brand slider kit. Love that. I had T-Rex crash bars before. They're just far too wide, and I don't know if I like the look that much. I did a Cobra exhaust, and I came from a Two Brothers exhaust on my other bike, and I still have that at home. I just personally I do not like the upsweep effect of those. I love the aesthetics when they're flat. So I bought the Cobra, I took out the fiberglass packing, I left the baffle in, and I find that's perfect for me. I've also had the Shorty GP exhaust, and that one's just a dragon. But I will tell you, I put that on for a little while, waiting for this exhaust to arrive. And when I flip this thing on with some back pressure, the thing is way more responsive. Out of corners, low speed, any sort of like slow maneuvering when you're like feathering the throttle, you're gonna want something with back pressure. That's anecdotal, you might have a way around that. I put in that little baffle insert into the Shorty GP. You can find so many videos on the Shorty, but you're gonna want something with back pressure if you wanna retain that responsive, quick, you know, flicky throttle, because it came right back. It was night and day. If you do the Cobra, by the way, they have you install it in a way that you can't have a passenger peg, which I thought was baloney. So if you want to make it work with a passenger peg, you just take your OEM bracket right here, this brace, the one-sided, and you put that flat head side facing the bike, and I just cut a little bit of this off with a bandsaw. You could just sand it down like not even a 1/4 inch, I don't think, and it'll fit. So this is an Edward Ritchie sissy bar, super simple. I love the look. I hate stuff that gets too busy. He's actually in Utah. He does super good work. I did the Burley brand license plate relocator vertical. I'm totally cutting off this lizard tail when I get a chance. I just got my temp tags for now, but I'm definitely gonna take a little slicey slice right here. But yeah, this Burley brand one comes with lights and wiring, and actually you can see where I cut it right here, because it's gonna come with a big fat, you know, circle right above that. That's super ugly, but I just cut that off, and this thing looks gorgeous. I didn't want to do anything with the lights. And then again, I did the tempered glass, got OEM seats, OEM mirrors, and I don't think I plan to do much else besides that lizard tail. I'll cut that off, and I think that's it. Yeah, so you know, drop a comment. What would you do? Would you trade in for this bike? Just so you know, I hate to, you know, spoil anyone's party, but every dealership has margin. Whether or not they're willing to give it to you is the trick. Since there were 2 of these in Utah, I did get about $1,000 off MSRP for this bike, even though it's brand new, had never been seen. There was 2 available, so it was either between them or someone else, right? So let's make a deal, that kind of thing. Just keep that in mind. I even got a Honda Navi, like practically for free with it when I traded in, which no regrets. I love those things. But yeah, I guess my question to you is, what are you doing? Are you going to trade in, or is this worth waiting for? Are you just going to stick with the original? So we'll close that up, and hope to see you out on the roads. And of course, we can't let you go without hearing the exhaust, even though it's not going to sound at all like it really does. But the bike's still in break-in, so we're not going to rip her, but we'll give you a little taste. The Cobra is not as loud as maybe some would like, but I love it.